Hey guys, Ernie here and welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. The Jetboil Flash has been around since 2009 and it has been kind of the undisputed king of boiling water fast. It has no shortage of competitors, whether it be higher price models from like MSR to cheaper things like BRS or Fire Maple. There's always versions of this type of stove, but they're always trying to be as good or better than the Flash. So when I saw this new Jetboil-like system from MSR, I thought this should be interesting. I've used the MSR Windburner before, but the price point on that is super high, $200. This one's much closer to the price point of a Flash. So is it a true competitor? Stay tuned. We're going to check out the MSR Switch system. Thanks for watching, guys. Complete stove systems like the Jetboils are very common and there are no shortage of different competitors or models. So why did MSR, who already makes an exceptional version, which is the personal Windburner system, why did they take another stab at a system similar to the Jetboil Flash? Why are they trying to compete more specifically with that product? Well, let's take a look at it and then we'll talk about it. All right, this is the Switch stove system from MSR. Dimensions packed like this are 7.1 by 4.7 by 4.5. Weight is 13.8 ounces or 292 grams. Materials, aluminum, stainless steel cork, as you can see on the side here, and rubber. The power is 7,100 BTUs. Capacity of the cup is 1 liter. It's made in Korea and costs $140. Now, let me show you the different parts here. Of course, we've got the lid, which we'll put right here. We have this pot support, which is kind of interesting. If you get your small canister, you can put it on just like that, just to show you. It is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. Anyway, that's that. We've got a little kind of microfiber cloth that is over the top of the burner. And you have the burner itself. Okay, see, it's an interesting design. And then you've got the mug, okay, with the removable cork and the cup at the bottom. Those are all of your pieces. A couple of interesting design points. First off, on the bottom, you can see that it's got this hemispherical design. So it's not a flat bottom pot, kind of a round bottom pot. And that is the design that MSR has gone with, and it connects with this, which just lays right on top, just like that. You can also take this burner and you can flip up these little pot supports like that, and then you can put any pot you want right on top. It doesn't have to be their proprietary pot, which is a nice touch. It's a pressure regulator. It's got better flame control because of that pressure regulator. Pressure regulators also allow for efficiency at low temperatures, and also when your fuel canister pressure is low, it allows you to keep that pressure up. It's similar weight to other systems. It kind of has this very intuitive, I would say, pot support system. It doesn't lock on, which is something I actually really like. It just pops on there. Of course, it could fall off, but it doesn't lock on there. It has a built-in piezo igniter. All right, you can see right here. It's kind of that classic nesting design. It does have this removable cork system, which you can just undo these and pop the cork right off if you want to. If you want to clean it, for whatever reason, you don't want the cork on top of it, you can take it off. And it has the nesting bowl. So pretty neat. Want to put it back together, you just pop this in. Make sure that you protect that little burner. Put your pot supports in. Put your top on. And there is your MSR Switch system. Looks great. Does it work? I'm going to show you guys the flame pattern, a little bit of control, and then we're going to boil some water and maybe even do something a little extra. Let me show you guys how this thing works. Now, one of the key features that's touted by MSR about this system is that you can flip up these little pot stands and you can cook with this system. It doesn't have to be just boiling. You can actually cook. You can adjust the flame enough to cook. So let's get a little non-stick pan, something that we might take with us out on trail. Let's try to fry an egg. Let's see how that works. Okay, guys, so I lost the footage of me trying to fry the egg. But let me tell you, it doesn't work. There's no way you can get the pan cool enough. It just scorches, even on the very lowest setting, it scorches the middle. You have to use tons of oil. It's totally impractical. I know they say you can cook with it. I do not think you can. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So there you go. There's a look at this new switch system from MSR. Let's talk pros and cons, and then we'll talk a little bit about more what we think. We'll start with the pros. It is an efficient design. The burner is super powerful. The cork around the outside, I think, is a really neat concept. You know, if you're going to put something like this and get it super dirty for whatever reason, you want to be able to take the cork off, either to clean it or to keep it clean before you get this into some kind of a mess. The little pack towel's nice, but the other major thing is the fact that you can use any pot system with it, and it's integrated. You can use any pot or pan you want with the Jetboil Flash, but you need to buy an accessory for it to allow you to be able to put it on top. And it's not a cheap accessory necessarily, and it's one extra thing that you have to carry. This one, it's got it built right in. You just flip these three little legs up, good to go. As far as cons go, the first one's going to be cost, because we're going to compare this not just to the Flash or to the Windburner personal system from MSR, but to the cheaper systems, to the Fire Maples out there, to the BRSs, to the whatever else it might be. You're going to look at those things and say, well, I can get these for a lot cheaper. So this is fairly expensive, $140. Cheaper than the Flash, but still pretty expensive. The cup does not lock to the bottom, which sounds silly, but you could lose it pretty easily. The pot also does not lock onto the burner. That could be a pro, that could be a con. I've talked about that. If the system to lock it on is very smooth, it works. To be real honest with you guys, this is a con because it doesn't compare to some of the other, almost all the other products lock on, but I don't really mind it that much. It is susceptible to the wind, and the biggest fail in this whole thing, I think, besides the cup that doesn't hang on, is the gas canister stabilizer, this rubber band business. It's horrible. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't think it'll work with a larger can, which the other ones all work with larger cans. Even though the can doesn't fit inside of it, all the other stabilizers work with the 230 or 240 gram canisters, whatever it is. I think it's 230. Those work. This thing doesn't, and it's silly. MSR, it's silly. Just make a metal one or a plastic one. I don't understand why you went this route. If you can tell me down below why you went this route, I would appreciate it. Now, I'm being a little negative, but overall, I really like this stove. It works extremely well. It is a good competitor to the Jetboil Flash. It is a very reasonable price. Although you can control the flame on this a little better, it's got a regulated valve. That regulated valve is going to work better to control temperature. It's going to work better at lower temperatures. It's going to work better when your fuel canister pressure is low. That's all really good stuff. But the idea of truly cooking with one of these systems, I don't think it's realistic. I think that when you start trying to say, hey, look, you can cook with this system, unlike the Flash, and you're trying to use that as a selling point. Like, you can get a Jetboil version that has a regulator if that's what you want. They're not that much more expensive. I think the whole point is that these things boil water, guys. They boil water. If you're going to boil a soup or something, you're going to boil water. You're not going to cook with this system. I'm telling you. Don't think you're going to have a meal. You're not going to fry up bacon. You're not going to do those things. I don't think you're going to do those things. If you're going to do those things, you're going to choose a different system. That's my personal opinion, and I do a lot of these videos, and I have a lot of experience with gear. The best parts of the stove: flip out pot stands. The cork cozy is really, really nice. The pack towel's kind of neat as well, just helps protect things. The biggest misses, I think, are the lack of wind protection. It's very open to the wind, and even though it's got that conical thing, which is cool. It's still very susceptible to the wind. This is basically a pocket rocket 2 attached to the bottom like a Jetboil. Globally, I like the system. I would carry it. I think it's great. I'm glad I bought it. But my job is to be nitpicky for you guys. There's always going to be good and there's always going to be bad. So there's a lot of good with this. I wouldn't say there's a lot of bad, but there are things you need to at least be aware of. And that's a lot of time what these cons are. They're not necessarily bad things. They're just things to be aware of. You have options. That's what it comes down to. You can spend $40 on a BRS-61. You can spend $200 on an MSR Windburner. You have options. If you're the kind of person who is looking for very specific things, make sure you do your research before you spend your money. Don't assume that the cheaper is better. Don't assume that more expensive is better. Find out what you need to find out and make the best decision for you. I've got videos on almost all these things. I try to be as objective as I can. I'm not super impressed by the flashy, super expensive things, but I can tell you guys something consistently. Almost always the more expensive systems feel better and work better. They work better. We're going to have a video up soon comparing the Jetboil Flash 2025 to the MSR Switch to the MSR Windburner personal system. We're going to put them up against each other. One is $140, one's $150, one's $200. We'll see what it shows. But I can tell you guys that you spend more money on better gear, or at least better performing gear. All of these products are very, very good. They just perform a little differently. I'm happy with the stove. I'm super glad I picked it up. I think I'll use it quite a bit. MSR products are very, very popular and they're very good. And there's nothing wrong with this Switch stove. There's a lot of positives. There's things about it that I like more than the Flash system. There's some things that I like the Flash a little bit more, especially the 2025 version. I love the feel of it. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll look at those 3 stoves on another video down the road. What do you guys think? You think this is a cool system? Would you consider picking it up? You think that $140 is a crazy price? You think it's a good price? Make sure you leave comments down below. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. It really helps spread things across YouTube, helps that algorithm. And if you are not subscribed, which I know a lot of you are not, hit the subscription button because it really helps, guys. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscription button. I really want to get to that 100,000 subscriber mark. I'll put this in my stove playlist, well over 250 videos in that stove playlist, so make sure you check it out. As always, guys, I hope you like this video. This is a great product. I love looking at budget gear, and I love looking at high quality, high priced gear as well. As always, guys, I appreciate you checking out the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Stay tuned for more videos soon.